Hi and welcome to this week's episode of Magoos Corner. I'm your host Trev. We're looking at the Division 2 reserves competition for this week. So looking at the round 1 results, so the first week, and there was quite a few games that were relatively close and a couple of games that were absolute blowouts, and there is no other way to describe it. So let's have a look at the first game, which was St Peter's versus Foscam. This was one of them that was quite a big win. St Peter's out at Caterer Oval hosting Foscam, and it was 7-3-45 to 18-12-120. Foscam getting the win there. Trenorden, Matheson, Giles, Maui and Walker were the best players there for the Spockers. Were the goal kickers, and the best players were Palmer, Walker, Carter, Laurie and Giles. And for Foscam, Williams kicked 5, Broswell with 4, Harms and Iodoni with 2, Cameron, Young, Molnar, Sopper and Flett with 1 each. And the best players were Walters, McGill, Hamden, Cameron and Soper. So that's a nice win for Foscam away from home. Next game, Sacred Heart and Gazer. Now this one was a little bit closer, 13-10-88 to Gazer, 9 goals, 660. And for Sacred Heart, Paparella with 3, Grundy also with 3, Bourne, Delmenico with 2, Sperling, Keenan and Turton with 1 each. And the best players were Clark, Grundy, Keenan, Paparella and Villas. Now for Gazer, McGregor with 5, which is a fair effort, Chrissy Nichols with 2, Ettridge and Olive, and the best players, Chris Nichols, so he's got to get a call up. We've got to pull a call into Jars to say, yep, get him in the side. Story, Spencer, Wilson and Borst. So just falling short there for Gazer, but 13-10, again, could have been a different story, but a nice win there for Sacred Heart. And looking at the next game, Modbury and Scotch Old Collegians, and one I did call, 12-18-90 to Scotch College, 5-4-34. Goal scorers for the Hawks was Dawson with 4, Reid with 2, Burrows, Coleman, Robinson, Hoffmeyer, Knightley and Jay Robinson with 1 each. And the best players were Hoffmeyer, Richards, both the Robinson boys, Cleary and Stewart. And for Scotch Old Collegians, Campbell, Rowe, Marsland, Twopenny, Isaacson, and the best players were Box, Allen and McGregor. So nice win there for Modbury, just ticking along nicely. And we'll leave that one for last. Now Smosh West Lakes hosted Broadview at St Michael's College, so the school ground, and Port Pleasure with 3, Parham with 3, Port Pleasure in the 2s, Shepherd, Parham, Taylor Parham in the 2s. One also kicked 1. Rogers, both the Parham boys, Milicevic, Cameron and Luke Port Pleasure were the best players. And for Broadview, Kemp with 3, Hearn with a couple, the same as Hill, Ryan, Eisner, Pretty, Felsted and Cathro were individuals. And the best players for Tigers were Eisner, O'Born, Hill, Pretty and Smith. So a nice win for Broadview, especially at that St Michael's Schoolboys Oval. And this game here, Portland, Old Ickies took the trip down Port Road, which always used to be a daunting task, but something no longer. Now, the best players, there was no goal scorers in this game. 2 points Portland to Old Ignatians, 26 goals, 12, 168. 166 point thumping. Now, it was a nice initiation for their new coach out there of the B grade, coming from Glenunga's A grade last year. Mitch Donnelly, young lad, getting in the best players. John De Palma in the 2s. King, Jaden Wade and Braden Clark were the best players. For Old Ignatians, Peroni with 5, Eddington, DePoy with 4 each, Connolly, Stewart, Lord, Connell, Monaghan with 2 each, Ryan, Stevenson and Turner with 1 each. Best players were Stewart, Whittleson, Turner, Manning, Eddington and Dawes. What can you take from that game? Old Iggy's that good and Portland that bad. Now we can't just go by last year. It was a tough time at that club, obviously, because I was the B grade coach with significant amount of injuries. I'm led to believe that there was 8 under 18 players playing in this side for Portland last week, and a couple in the A grade. I think one of them was also a 16-year-old. So, but Portland did have 6 or 7 out of their A grade starting lineups, and then of course that's the flow-on effect. but to have somebody like a De Palma playing around in the twos, who was around about a 2-goal, 5-goal scorer for Portland, and in most of his career, not sure what the go is there, whether he's not been able to make training, don't know, but it looks like it's going to be another long year for Portland, just down the road. But I hope they can turn that around and get some of those players back and at least be competitive in Division 2, because as I know as well as anybody based on our results from last year, you cannot have a strong A-grade side without the depth and a strong B-grade side. It's just not going to work. It will not work. It won't work ever. So hopefully they can turn that around and start to get some players through the door, ones that want to be there, and the administration doing everything they can to support those players and those coaches. So that's it from that one. So let's have a look at the next games, which is round 2, Anzac Day weekend, and Broadview host Portland at Broadview Oval. I'm sorry to say, but it will be a similar result, depending on if they get those players back, but I know that Portland has some injuries this week, so it probably will be the same story. So Broadview for me by 15 to 20 goals plus. I hope they prove me wrong, because they've got some young talent in that club coming through their 16s. Mind you, they did forfeit from what I'm led to believe, but will be corrected if I'm wrong. But I hope that they can get some players back. So Broadview by plenty, as I said. Foss Camden and Modbury, this is going to be a cracking game. It's at Camden Oval, but I believe that home ground advantage is just going to tip Foss Camden over. So Foss Camden for me. Old Ignatians and Sacred Heart at Hunter Park. Now, Old Ignatians are going to take a winning form into this game, but I think Old Ignatians is going to be too strong for Sacred Heart. The Old Ignatians have secured some really good recruits in their A grade, which again flows through. That's what good clubs do. So for me, Old Ignatians. Gazer and St Peter's at Clemsig Oval. Good reports coming out of Gazer from A grade right through. Chrissy Nichols, if he doesn't play A grade, but after a best on ground performance last week, he should be. But Gazer for me on that one. And Scotch Old Collegians and Smosh West Lakes and Scotch College. So the white picket fence, Smosh. And I think Smosh will do it convincingly too. So for me, that's all we've got time for this week. Make sure you subscribe to the SA Footballer magazine, see what's happening on the SA Footballer TV, and we'll catch you again next week.